And I'm on a brand new set of tires. So I have to be very careful because it has no grip on the tires. Also, this time I choose a different make of tires. Metzeler Z8 Interact, because they're said to last longer than the Michelin Pilot Power. I seem to be a lot of tiny cars at the Revival. Cars nowadays are so big, proper tanks. It's all about security. More crash zone, more insulation. So the car gets heavier, and if it's getting heavier, you need a bigger engine, which means you need more insulation, and so and so and so. So today started the Goodwood Revival, which is a festival for classic race cars and classic aviation. Mostly about the 1950s, that's why they dress up like this. They closed the road. Some of these guys are wearing classic military uniforms. They even carry machine guns with them. And I've never been there, so Sunday I'll be there for the first time, and I'm quite excited, to be honest. Unfortunately, I have no classic dress or no classic suit, so I'll just be going in smart casual, and that should be enough. So women usually wear these petticoats and nice sunglasses and some scarves. It's very nice. And the guys are wearing these classic suits with nice little hats, and everyone's running around with pipes in their mouth. So now we have to find another way. So whilst I'm doing this, I can start talking about the actual topic of this video, which is the 24 hours race at the Nürburgring. So the whole thing starts on the Monday, because there's so much extra program around the actual race, which is on the Saturday, starting at 3 or 4 o'clock in the evening, and then the madness carries on for 24 hours. Yeah, so my two friends started in Germany. They had all the booze and all the meat and the barbecue and stuff, the heavy things, but they didn't have a tent. So I started over here and grabbed my tent, snapped it on the back of the bike, and then we were sleeping in the tent for 2 nights. It's a 3-person's tent, but it's actually so tiny, you have to like each other very much to spend 2 nights in there. And we had a mini barbecue for 10 euros, just about that diameter. We had like 60, 70, 80 cans of beer, half a liter each. So we spent most of the time checking out the cars racing by. You got to know the usual type of accommodation is the tent. There are some dedicated tenting places, and some are right next to the racetrack. I mean, literally right next to the racetrack. At the guardrail. But these places are so popular that as a normal guy, you have no chance to set up your tent there, because you have to get there on the Monday or even on the Sunday night. So the professionals, they start camping there on the Monday, and they are drunk for the whole week. So as it was my first time, I had no idea how things were going. So I decided to try at one camping spot that is near the viewing point called Pflanzgarten. If you get there on a Friday afternoon, all the camping places are basically full. And what you do is you just ride in there and then find someone who will share the place with you. So the group of guys I found, they brought some fences with them, and then they set up like 20 by 20 meters of the green. So by setting up these fences, they can decide who's going to share the space with them, so they don't have to camp next to some assholes. And it turned out that these guys actually were coming from the same area of Germany I grew up. I had an instant like, and they said, yeah, come on mate, come on, have a beer. So I set up the tent, set a beacon and WhatsApp for my friends to find me, and waited for them to come. To be honest, I should have started the other way around, telling more about the numbers of the whole Nürburgring. So the Nürburgring is one of the longest racetracks in the world. The setup they race on the 24 hours race contains the short track of the new track, which was built in 1984, and they race the whole Nordschleife, which is about 21 kilometers long, and it's in the middle of the forest, in the Eifel to be exact. Yeah, so now we end up at Goodwood House, and all these camping spots are basically around the racetrack. Now, talking numbers, visitors count is usually between 150 and 200,000 people. It's absolute madness, and they are all spread along the course. You can walk the whole course. Some sections are forbidden, like the high-speed passages, Antoniusbuche for example. So there are some places where marshals will make you disappear. So if you imagine 150 to 200,000 petrolheads, that's gonna be a hell of a party. This forest turns into a massive party stage. Most of these groups, they bring really big music equipment, lights, laser shows, and even fog machines, TV screens, beamers, swimming pools, you name it. And since there's no electricity, everything is powered by generators. And some guys seem to work at scaffolding companies, because you see a lot of scaffoldings. Hi, can I exit on the other side?
To go which direction?
Fox goes free.
Here?
Yeah?
Right across the end and then turn right.
Alright, cheers. Cheers, mate. Yeah, so there are a lot of scaffoldings which are used as grandstands basically. Because what you do normally is grab your folding chair, walk until you find a nice place, and then sit down and start drinking your beers. So if you're asking me, the best day to get there is the Friday. Because on the Friday night before the race, say starting at about 4 or 5 or 6 o'clock, they start the bobby car race. If you don't know what a bobby car is, I'll put a picture right here. This is a child's toy car. Grown-up men, they sit on these and race down the hilly parts of the racetrack, which is from the Hohe Acht, the highest point of the racetrack, until Brünnchen, which is like the most well-known spectator point. There are a lot of guys racing down the hill at insane speeds without any safety gear, probably smashed as hell, and the spectators are forming like a guardrail standing besides the track. So every year there are some injuries. Look at the German, he has no idea where to go. In his Mercedes-Benz. Both lanes. Wow. Both lanes! Wow! I'm back in Germany! Riding on the correct side of the road. Ah, nice. Ah, feels like home. Where did I stop? Yeah, so what we did on the Friday night was we watched this bobby car race and then walked the track up until the carousel. So there was quite a long walk, and it's up and down a lot. You don't see this on the PlayStation or the TV. It's so hilly. I'll show you a map right here for how long, to see how long that is actually. Oh, I could show you down here. So the nightfall at the carousel, we walked down the carousel and then thought, no, we're not gonna walk down Klostertal because there are no camping places, there's no music, no light shows, pretty boring. So we entered the camping site again from the track side. to have a sniff of the party. Smashed petrolheads, techno music blasting out of the speakers. Absolutely awesome. It's an experience for life. If you like racing or cars in general, it's definitely worth a visit. I'll be there next year again with a bigger crowd, because we've been telling some friends and now they're like, "Whoa, I got to go there." So if you walk through the forest, they are always like little islands of groups of friends sitting together, enjoying themselves. And the most hilarious guys I've seen, or say the most hilarious design of camping place, was a group of guys who actually built a whole river in the forest right next to their camping place. So they had like a black plastic foil and put some really nice white pebbles on it, built a little bridge over it, set up some flowers and some lights and some ceramic dwarfs, Gartenzwerge, and then all this water was flowing down there and scooter blasting from the speakers. That was so nice. And there are some very strange or hilarious camper vans. For example, some guys, they took a coach bus and turned that into a camper. So what they did, they removed all the seats in the front area up until the last 2 or 3 rows and then set them up facing each other, put a table in the middle. That's what I call a really nice camper van. And not to forget the race itself. We've been at the Grand Prix track on the grandstands at the start, and there are so many cars and so many people you can't see the tarmac anymore. So when they're actually getting on the grid, I think this year there were about 180 cars. Because there are so many cars, they have to start in different groups. So they started in 3 groups, I guess. Yeah, and the sound, that's massive. Look at this guy. Yeah, the sound is absolutely awesome. It's blasting your ears. So it's the place to go if you are a petrolhead. So when we walked up from Pflanzgarten to Brünnchen, we came past the banner. And there was written on it, "If you think Cristiano Ronaldo is a dick, scream loser." So I saw that banner, said to my mates, "Alright, on 3. 1, 2, 3, loser!" And then we heard it screaming from the tent nearby, "Hey!" I mean, these are the kinds of guys you will meet there. And what you see quite often are cans of beer hanging on the fences. Yeah, they're making themselves at home basically. And on Friday night, when it's getting dark, the crime happens. Have you ever noticed that on the Nürburgring Nordschleife there are loads of messages and pictures from fans right on the tarmac? These are all placed by fans before the 24 hours race. Of course, illegally. So marshals are patrolling the track in their cars, and if they see you painting the racetrack, they will steal your cans or your paint buckets. But many people manage not to get caught and then draw their logos or their names or some funny messages on the racetrack. So some guys painted penises on the curbs along a whole corner for like 100 or 200 meters. But it's really like they say, it's not about the race, it's all about the atmosphere. So if you're asking me, being at the 24 hours race for camping is an absolute blast. I'm looking forward to next year a lot. Alright, I'll catch you next time.